Trade relations form the intricate network of economic interactions that connect countries across the globe. They represent a fundamental aspect of how nations engage with one another, shaping their economies and their futures. This complex system is far more than just simple transactions. At its core, trade relations involve the systematic exchange of goods. This includes everything from raw materials vital for industrial production to sophisticated manufactured products that fill our markets. The movement of these physical items forms the backbone of global commerce. Beyond physical products, trade relations encompass the exchange of services. This vast category includes financial services, technological support, tourism, education, and professional consultations. The service sector's contribution to global trade continues to grow significantly. Furthermore, a critical element of these interactions is the exchange of capital. This refers to investments flowing across borders, such as foreign direct investment, portfolio investments, and international loans. Capital flows are essential for fostering economic development and facilitating trade. In our increasingly globalized world, trade relations stand as a cornerstone of the modern global economy. They are not merely an economic footnote, but rather a foundational pillar. Their impact resonates through every aspect of international affairs. These relationships profoundly shape economic growth within individual nations and across regions. They dictate which industries thrive, where jobs are created, and how national prosperity is achieved. Sustainable growth often relies on robust trade. Moreover, trade relations often play a significant role in forging and maintaining political alliances. Economic interdependence can create shared interests, leading to diplomatic cooperation and stability. Conversely, trade disputes can strain international ties. Ultimately, trade profoundly influences societal well-being for populations worldwide. Access to diverse goods, competitive pricing, and employment opportunities are direct outcomes of effective trade relationships. These benefits enhance quality of life. However, understanding trade relations requires navigating immense complexity. It involves intricate agreements, evolving national policies, and the diverse motivations of many actors. This multifaceted environment demands careful consideration and strategic planning. The foundation of robust trade relations rests upon several fundamental economic principles. These principles explain why countries choose to engage in international commerce rather than attempting self-sufficiency. They highlight the mutual benefits derived from global exchange. One of the most powerful concepts driving trade is that of comparative advantage. This principle posits that countries should specialize in producing goods and services where they have a lower opportunity cost. Opportunity cost refers to what must be given up to produce another item. A country possesses a comparative advantage if it can produce a good at a lower relative cost compared to another country. It is not about being absolutely better at everything. Instead, it focuses on relative efficiencies and resource allocation. When nations specialize based on their comparative advantage, several positive outcomes emerge. The overall production of goods and services globally increases significantly. This leads to a more abundant supply for everyone. Furthermore, specialization fosters enhanced efficiency across economies. Resources are allocated to their most productive uses, reducing waste and maximizing output. This efficiency benefits both producers and consumers by lowering costs. This specialization inherently fosters interdependence among nations. Countries begin to rely on each other for essential resources that they may not possess or produce efficiently themselves. This shared reliance becomes a binding factor. They also depend on other nations for finished products that are more effectively manufactured elsewhere. This network of supply chains connects economies intimately. It ensures a diverse range of goods is available globally. Moreover, countries rely on each other for specialized expertise and technological advancements. Knowledge and innovation often flow across borders through trade. This exchange accelerates progress for all participating parties. This web of interdependence creates a powerful incentive for cooperation and stability. Disruptions in one part of the global trade system can have ripple effects worldwide. Therefore, maintaining open and predictable trade channels is crucial for global prosperity. To manage the complexities and vast scope of global commerce, trade relations are governed by a sophisticated framework of agreements and institutions. These mechanisms aim to standardize practices, reduce barriers, and ensure fairness in international trade. They provide predictability in an otherwise dynamic environment. One common form of governance involves bilateral trade agreements, negotiated between two specific countries. These agreements are tailored to address the unique trade dynamics and priorities between the two signatory nations. They are often highly detailed and specific. The primary aim of bilateral agreements is to reduce tariffs, which are taxes on imported goods. By lowering or eliminating these taxes, products become more affordable, stimulating trade. They also seek to streamline customs procedures and regulations, making trade easier. Additionally, bilateral agreements often promote investment flows between the two countries. They can establish protections for foreign investors, encouraging capital to move across borders. This fosters deeper economic integration and collaboration. Beyond bilateral arrangements, multilateral agreements encompass a larger number of countries, often on a global or regional scale. The World Trade Organization, or WTO, stands as the most prominent example of a multilateral institution. It governs trade among its many member states. The WTO's overarching aim is to create an open, predictable, and non-discriminatory global trading system. It provides a forum for governments to negotiate trade agreements and resolve trade disputes. Its rules underpin much of international commerce. Its functions include fostering fair competition by setting standards and rules for trade practices. It works to prevent unfair subsidies, dumping, and other anti-competitive behaviors. This ensures a level playing field for businesses worldwide. Crucially, the WTO also provides a mechanism for resolving trade disputes between member countries. When disagreements arise, the dispute settlement body offers a structured process for arbitration and enforcement. This helps maintain stability in trade relations. The negotiation of both bilateral and multilateral trade agreements is inherently complex. It reflects the diverse interests and priorities of all participating nations. Each country seeks to protect its own industries while also gaining market access abroad. These negotiations often involve extensive deliberation on tariffs, subsidies, intellectual property rights, labor standards, and environmental protections. Reaching consensus requires significant diplomatic effort and compromise from all sides. Despite the numerous benefits and the established frameworks, trade relations are not without significant challenges. These obstacles can disrupt global commerce, create economic friction, and even lead to international tension. Understanding them is crucial for effective policymaking. One of the most persistent challenges comes in the form of protectionist measures. These are policies enacted by governments to protect domestic industries from foreign competition. They often stem from economic nationalism or concerns about job security. Examples of protectionist measures include tariffs, which are taxes levied on imported goods. These taxes increase the price of foreign products, making domestically produced alternatives more competitive. Tariffs can be a significant barrier to trade. Another common protectionist tool is quotas, which set limits on the quantity of certain goods that can be imported. Quotas restrict supply, potentially raising prices for consumers. They directly curb foreign market access. The purpose behind these measures is generally to shield specific domestic industries from the competitive pressures of the global market. Governments may argue that protection is necessary to safeguard jobs, national security, or nascent industries. Such policies are often politically popular in specific sectors. However, protectionist measures carry potential negative consequences that can undermine the very goals they aim to achieve. They can hinder overall economic growth by reducing the efficiency gains from specialization and comparative advantage. Global productivity suffers. For consumers, protectionism often translates into higher prices for goods and services. Limiting competition allows domestic producers to charge more, reducing purchasing power. This impacts household budgets directly. Furthermore, protectionist policies frequently limit consumer choice. By restricting imports, the variety of available products decreases. Consumers have fewer options and may be forced to purchase less desirable or more expensive domestic goods. Perhaps most significantly, protectionist actions often provoke retaliatory measures from other countries. If one nation imposes tariffs, affected countries may respond with their own tariffs on the first nation's exports. This can escalate into trade wars, harming all parties. Such cycles of retaliation can disrupt global supply chains, reduce international trade volumes, and create economic instability. They represent a significant risk to the interconnected global economy. Avoiding these escalations is a major diplomatic challenge. Trade relations are not purely economic phenomena. They are deeply intertwined with politics and geopolitical realities. Political influences can profoundly shape trade flows, policy decisions, and the very structure of global commerce. Understanding this connection is vital for navigating the international landscape. The impact of geopolitical factors on trade relations is undeniable. Tensions between nations, for example, can quickly translate into trade disruptions. Political disagreements can overshadow economic logic, leading to non-economic trade decisions. National security concerns also play a significant role in shaping trade policy. Countries may restrict trade in certain technologies or strategic resources to protect their defense capabilities or critical infrastructure. This often overrides market efficiency. Ideological differences between governments can also lead to trade friction. Variations in political systems or values can make cooperation difficult, even if there are economic benefits to be gained. Trade can become a battleground for competing ideologies. Indeed, trade is often employed as a powerful tool of foreign policy. Governments leverage their economic relationships to achieve specific political objectives. This demonstrates the deliberate merging of economic power and diplomatic strategy. Economic sanctions are a prime example of trade being used as a foreign policy instrument. These restrictions on trade, finance, or travel are imposed by one or more countries against another. They aim to pressure a target nation into changing its behavior or policies. Trade wars, characterized by escalating tariffs and retaliatory measures, also highlight trade's political dimension. These are often initiated not just for economic gain, but to assert political dominance or express dissatisfaction with another nation's actions. The economic impact is often secondary to the political message. Embargoes, which involve a complete prohibition of trade with a specific country, represent another severe form of political trade action. These are typically imposed in response to grave political or human rights concerns. They aim to isolate and penalize the target. These examples underscore the intrinsically intertwined nature of economics and politics in the realm of trade. Trade agreements and disputes are not solely about market access or profit margins. They are also about power, influence, and national interest on the global stage. Such political considerations can create uncertainty for businesses and investors. They may lead to unexpected market shifts and supply chain disruptions. Therefore, companies operating internationally must factor geopolitical risk into their strategies. The complex web of trade relations has far-reaching impacts, directly affecting a diverse array of stakeholders. These include consumers, businesses, and workers, each experiencing distinct benefits and challenges. Understanding these varied effects is essential for assessing the overall value and fairness of global trade. For consumers, trade relations typically bring significant benefits. One of the most immediate advantages is access to lower prices for a wide range of goods. Competition from international producers often drives down costs, making products more affordable. Furthermore, international trade leads to increased product variety. Consumers gain access to goods, styles, and innovations from around the world. This expanded choice allows individuals to find products that better suit their specific needs and preferences. Businesses, particularly those engaged in international commerce, also reap substantial benefits. Trade agreements and open markets provide access to larger markets beyond their domestic borders. This allows companies to scale up production, and increase sales volumes. Such expanded market access creates significant opportunities for growth and expansion. Companies can find new customer bases, diversify their revenue streams, and achieve economies of scale. This contributes to their long-term profitability and stability. However, trade relations also present significant challenges, particularly for workers in specific industries. Increased foreign competition can lead to job displacement in sectors that struggle to compete with lower-cost imports. This can have severe consequences for local economies. Industries such as manufacturing, textiles, and agriculture in developed nations have often faced intense pressure from imports. Workers in these sectors may lose their jobs or experience downward pressure on wages. This creates economic hardship and social instability. Addressing these challenges requires thoughtful and supportive policies from governments. Retraining programs can help displaced workers acquire new skills relevant to growing sectors of the economy. This facilitates their transition into new employment. Additionally, social safety nets, such as unemployment benefits and adjustment assistance programs, are crucial. These measures provide a vital buffer for workers and communities affected by shifts in global trade patterns. They mitigate the human cost of economic restructuring. Ultimately, balancing the broad economic gains of trade with the specific challenges faced by certain groups remains a key policy objective. Creating an inclusive trade system requires acknowledging and addressing the diverse impacts on all stakeholders. In conclusion, understanding trade relations reveals a multifaceted phenomenon driven by fundamental economic principles. It is a system built on the pursuit of efficiency, specialization, and mutual gain through the exchange of goods, services, and capital. These underlying forces are constant drivers of global commerce. Yet, this economic engine is inextricably shaped by complex political considerations. National interests, geopolitical tensions, and foreign policy objectives frequently influence trade flows and agreements. Trade is as much about power and diplomacy as it is about profit. The impacts of these intricate relationships resonate widely, affecting a diverse range of stakeholders. Consumers benefit from choice and lower prices, while businesses gain access to new markets. However, workers in specific industries can face significant challenges. Navigating this dynamic interplay of economics and politics is crucial for fostering sustainable and equitable growth globally. It requires continuous adaptation, robust international cooperation, and thoughtful domestic policies. The future of global prosperity depends on our ability to manage this complex web effectively.